Welcome back to another episode, motherfuckers. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
And I'm your host, John Tui.
And this is Dark Side of the Moon. And this week we're going to be talking a little bit about the Star Wars sequel trilogy from your good old friends, Disney. Because, you know, if you're going to wrap up your Star Wars series, you might as well do it on a sour note. As well, we have Kenobi next, which was a fucking awesome. Come on, Noel, talk to me, brother. What are we going to do about this? Like, to be honest with you, I enjoyed them this time around because lowered expectations again.
Lowered expectations and also knowing what to expect.
Yeah,
because of those lower expectations. I did as well, and you know, I ended up rooting for people a little bit more. But they did by Snoke dirty.
Finn.
And Finn, they did him dirty, and Rose, but that was some racist behind the fucking scenes, like fanboy bullshit.
Yeah, but Kelly and Chan or something is her name.
Yeah. And you know what made me think, and I'm going to go off script here for a second, but this, I was waiting on a train.
Okay.
I was waiting on a train today, and something occurred to me. I'm a big anime guy. I have been since I was a kid.
Hentai, whatever. Go on.
Hentai. Well, you know, it's art, okay? It's art. But it's the reason I always hated the show Dragon Ball Z is because they always build up a character, and then by the next season they've decided that everyone's so super powerful that character doesn't mean shit anymore.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, was Darth Vader the most powerful, or was Palpatine the most powerful? Because like, or what, Force lightning, can it stop like a fleet of Star Destroyers, or can it like hurt one person? You know, they kept like the Force. You have to be trained when you're a child, because Rey just realized when she was being interrogated that she could use the Force, and then Jedi mind tricks a dude.
Like 5 minutes later, if even.
And I don't care if she fights an injured Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's supposed to be the Darth Vader. Nobody like, oh, wait a minute, I'm a little bit in touch with the Force, and then fights Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That'd be literally like me doing 2 weeks of BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and going and fighting one of the Gracie brothers or something, one of the greatest jiu-jitsuists of all time. Jiu-jitsu players of all time.
But he's carrying, to be fair, he is carrying a little bit of a knock. So what?
Yeah, exactly. That dude that dude literally won an entire tournament, seemingly like with a broken arm or something ridiculous, or he won a fight with a broken arm or something. Like when you get to that level, they would have to literally have no legs or something. Yeah. Like literally have to be bleeding out for you to be able to get near them.
Yeah, like, to even be able to get a sniff at them.
Like what you could have done with that scene, because Rey is as inexperienced as you say, is give her a blaster, right? Or have a lightsaber and a blaster. Maybe she injures Kylo Ren during the fight even more by shooting him a couple of times or something. You know, make it a bit more plausible, because like not only are the powers of the Force in the Disney trilogy so inconsistent, but like just the understanding of the Force and how quick is always inconsistent throughout the Star Wars franchise. Like
like when the transporter's taken off and they've got Chewbacca. And I mean, this thing. Now, this was like you had Luke Skywalker trying to raise a starfighter or whatever those ships was called X-Wing. Out of the X-Wing. Thank you. Out of the mud, out of the swamp. Yeah, and it was a whole big thing. And then she was able to stop at something from leaving Earth's orbit, like something that was actually in transit with like jet boosters, and she was able to hold it, and then she was able to control Force lightning.
Yeah.
With something with Vader, Luke, like, you know, Dooku, Palpatine, Yoda, they could do it.
Mace Windu couldn't even block Force lightning when he was fighting for.
There you go. Mace Windu couldn't even do it, and he was supposed to be an absolute badass. And
he was a master Jedi, like
he was a master Jedi. So, like, all of a sudden, like Force lightning.
Yeah,
I was like, I mean, just that inconsistency, and it just made me think of Dragon Ball Z, because all of a sudden being a Super Saiyan is a big thing, because now you need to be an Ultra Instinct 10 times Kaioken mastered. You know, rejuvenated. All of a sudden,
it's like the Flash.
And you're always new power, a new thing.
Or it's like the Flash. Like, no, you're the fastest man alive until season 2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, until the narrative needs otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, well, it's just BB-8. It's just a coincidence. He runs into her.
Oh yeah,
he runs into Palpatine's granddaughter.
Like Tatooine,
Palpatine's granddaughter.
Man, Tatooine's gravitational pull for legacy and destiny is insane.
It truly is. It truly is. Because even just something like, I thought they'd say later that, you know, I don't know, the mystic hand of Yoda, or just some, you know, like just something that nudged from the Force. It's just, but it's never touched upon. She's literally just a girl scavenging for, you know, parts that get just to pay for food, just to get by, just to fight. That's all she was. Yeah. But then it turns out that she learns, and I hated it, because the whole thing about Luke was that he was the chosen one. The fact that at 16 years of age, with just a couple of weeks training, and the devastating loss of, like, he loses to Darth Vader, gets his arm chopped off and all that. He goes through hell to become as strong as he is. And it's also because he's in, like, one of the strongest Jedi bloodlines.
Yeah.
That, and you kind of, like, he's earned it. You feel like when he takes on in Return of the Jedi, you think he's actually taken on Vader, and he earned it. Rey just made no sense to me the entire time, I have to say.
Well, like, it's not in like that she meant no sense. Like, I don't mind her being force sensitive. I don't mind. I kind of like the fact that she was nobody. Like, I kind of thought that's what they were hinting at. Do you remember, like, in the
your parents are nobody?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like you don't have to belong to this great legacy or this great destiny
that would have been better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you know, I think Kevin. I think now when I say this, like, I think I heard Kevin Smith make the point first on Fatman Beyond, and I just agreed with. I really agreed with it. I'm not going to say it's an out and out original thought, like, but I or is it maybe Mark Bernardin? But that's where I think I heard it on Batman Beyond, but like or Fatman Beyond. Sorry, and I thought that was a good point as well, because, like, if you look at it, it makes a whole world of difference if you get outside the legacy. You say that, like, it's no longer about just the Skywalkers, because, like, it's no coincidence that the most successful stuff Disney have done over the past, like, 5 years have all been outside of the Skywalker legacy. You know what I mean? Mandalorian season 1, season 2, Book of Boba Fett, fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, Rogue One. All these things were kind of outside of that the Skywalker saga, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And even some legacy character, you know, like Yoda have been touched on, Baby Yoda.
Skywalker fatigue, man. It's
Skywalker fatigue, absolutely. Yeah. Because even though, like, she takes on the role of Skywalker, like, she calls herself Skywalker at the very, very, very end.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
But, like, you know, Ben Solo was a Skywalker. Ergo as Darth Vader. And all of a sudden, do you remember, like, Darth Vader wasn't able to stop a laser blast. Like, he was able to block one with his hands. Yeah. He's the only person I've seen do that. Literally just smack it with his hand, and it's amazing. Yeah. But your man just stopped one, and it just sat there until he left, for ages, and then it takes off. Like, and I was thinking, this guy is, now, to be fair, he was a trained Jedi. He was all that. He was all the bells and whistles. So, like, his strength made sense to me. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, so Vader's the Dragon Ball Z. Vader is Vader's a bitch boy. Like, Rey left alone with the Force for 3 days would have just torn him apart, because you see her, like, holding up transporters, Force lightning. See where she's just sitting midair and there's rocks floating around her.
Yeah, that's at the start of part 3, is it?
Yeah, and you see, like Vader would have to, like, stroke. You know, he'd focus on one thing and he'd make it move. Then he'd focus on one thing and he'd make it move. Yeah, and she's able to just, like, she's God tier. Yeah. You know, she's Palpatine tier, like, straight away.
Oh, she's a Palpatine, but, like,
she is a Palpatine, but she's Palpatine tier.
I kind of like
Darth Sidious tier, like, you know.
Yeah, I kind of like in the whole Rey Skywalker thing to be like, you find out, you know, like the boys from Brazil that were supposed to be a clone from Hitler. You find out you're a clone from Adolf Hitler, and you're just like, my name is Mahatma Gandhi.
It actually reminds me of an episode of American Dad with Roger, a character that I absolutely adore. Yeah, and he was just like, fine, I'll try this meditation thing, but I don't know if this will go. Oh my God, I'm doing it! And he just goes out of body and takes her with him. Like, you know, it's just brilliant. You know, just why not, like, lean into it.
Yeah, but that's the major issue I have with these movies. They're not actually terrible movies. Like, they're not actually terrible movies. Force Awakens is a really solid movie, even though it's a rehash. Last Jedi, it's good in parts, but the problem with that movie is that it kind of lacks urgency, because it's one slow fucking space scene, chase scene through space for one half portion of the narrative. But and the third one, it just felt like it lacked soul. It just really felt like it lacks soul. Like, that's the problem.
Actually, the point I was about to make, and you touched upon it in 2 different ways, with the lack soul and the urgency, is one thing. Nostalgia is a feeling.
Yeah, it'll get you a long way.
It'll get you. Like, I mean, Obi-Wan got me a little bit in that way. And this one, it just did. It just felt like it was the continuation of the story. It didn't insist on it. And I felt like it was like, Millennium Falcon. Guys, it's the Millennium Falcon. Guys, it's R2D. It's C-3PO. It's Leia. It's Han Solo. And it just goes, it's Luke fucking Skywalker. And I felt like, yeah, but that's not what nostalgia is. Like, don't get me wrong. It's nice to touch upon. It's nice to see these things. Yeah. It's nice to tip the cap to these things. But it doesn't, nostalgia is a feeling. And Obi-Wan, I think, got that. and I think this didn't get that. I think it just tried to say now.
Disney are learning, though.
Yeah, they are. No, they are, and they are
considerably.
Well, I mean, sorry, what's the second one in the series? The
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. Yeah, they did. Like, they listened to the people, and they got in, J.J. Abrams, and
seemingly Colin Trevorrow, the guy who wrote and directed Jurassic World, has a script out there somewhere that's supposed to be incredible.
I did not know that. I would love. You were talking about legacy. I mean, I would watch a movie that goes back, like a long time ago in a galaxy far away. Why not a long time ago?
Yeah.
We said this previously. And like, why not? Like, before lightsabers, where they carried, I don't know, special metal swords or something.
Where they discover kyber crystals and start
exactly.
the first lightsabers.
Where they're like, let's just say 100 years ahead of where me and you are.
Like Jedi year one, pretty much.
Yeah. Like we can get to the moon quite easily. We can get to Mars maybe, but something like that, and just not dumb it down, but just because scale is in everything, and that's what Obi-Wan is showing us. But that's what this showed us the other one, like a planet, just like a planet size, like a not a moon-sized ship that could blow up planets, a planet that can blow up multiple planets.
Let me talk to you a little bit about Starkiller Base, all right? The reason I want to talk to you a little bit about is something I said to Lorraine after I watched these movies yesterday, and I just said to her, the First Order, if they keep going the way they're going, blowing up planets and whatnot, who are they going to rule over?
That's an excellent thing. We need to take over these planets, but they're fighting back. Destroy all of the planets.
Just like, you know what I mean? It's like the whole point of taking over a planet is not only just to subjugate its people, but
it's resources.
Yes. Exactly.
Excellent point.
You know what I mean? Like, so because I was looking at it, I was like, that's pretty much a solar system. I'm like, all right, add that to Alderaan from the first movies, and the other planet that blew up as well at the start of it. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, and then there's Scarif that got attacked. I'm like, how many planets are left in this fucking solar system? Like,
exactly. If it was like our solar system, you might think like, all right, they're all fighting back. Blow up Mars, like, or Pluto, whatever that there's colonies on, and not necessarily a lot of resources.
Pluto.
And do it, because the thing is, don't forget the Starkiller Base.
It's not for life though.
Pluto, the Starkiller Base is not just more destructive. It's distance.
Yeah,
it was able to blow them up from like light years away or whatever the hell it was, and so just to show off your power, you're absolutely right. Don't you wipe out colonies? You don't wipe out civilizations like
the attack on Scarif makes more sense because they just wipe out an installation.
Yes,
and that's a massive show for still.
I love the fact that like they set up a couple of bombs in the Starkiller Base. It's literally a planet. And it's just like these couple of little isolated, like, who designed it?
Do you remember in Force Awakens? There's a Force Awakens, you're like, oh, this was the size of the Death Star, and this is the size of Starkiller Base. Yeah. Look, it's so much bigger.
It's bigger, and that means we're good at making movies.
Bigger times eviler equals
lightsaber with two little lightsabers sticking out of the side of the lightsaber. But even again, like, it's the powers thing. And again, it always brings me back to Dragon Ball Z, because that's apparently the staple in my brain for it. Something that annoys me, because nothing means anything if there isn't a staple. Like exceptionally strong, it would be like a Mace Windu or a Darth Vader, exceptionally strong. And anything up to that is impressive, and anything that goes beyond that is Sidious. Is something.
That's a rankers right there. Top 5.
Yeah, that's a rankers. That's like, it's Sidious level. And anything, but like now, I don't know. The scale is broke for me now with Rey.
Yeah,
because why can't I just have what if Rey has a kid now, and it's a super Rey?
What I'm going to say is about Rey, and the only excuse, if you could call it that, I would make for her is the fact that she is. I think she's a clone. I think. Like, I think she's literally cloned directly from Palpatine's DNA.
A Snoke job.
Pretty much artificial insemination type job. Like, nobody's fucking Palpatine. You know what I mean? So I pretty much think that she's a direct clone from him. And because maybe he is so strong in the Force, that I don't know, that she's naturally so strong in the Force. But what annoys me about it is she had no inkling whatsoever she was Force sensitive. And someone that's so strong in the Force should be showing signs of that throughout her life, because it became so natural to her that should always have been so natural to her. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing is like, Or because like I don't know, was Luke ever did Luke ever show any signs of the Force? Or
apparently he was able to shoot. I can't remember the expression.
A womp rat from over 200 meters away.
Yeah. So there was just that kind of reflex of, and of course Anakin was able to pod race and stuff
and Luke
like that.
Skywalker's a really good pilot as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. So there was just like you might have just called him like almost prodigious talent in one aspect, but you wouldn't have gone as far as to say. But like it would be worth looking into, but I don't know what Rey's thing
unreal
was.
Instincts and reflexes.
Exactly, yeah. Like, but again, DBA just stumbles into her. I don't know.
Oh man, sure. Like if fucking Qui-Gon Jinn doesn't have a damaged ship, he never fucking finds Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Excellent point.
You know what I mean? Like, and isn't it the same? Luke Skywalker is found by pure chance in fucking A New Hope as well, like because there's the attack at the start, and in R2D2 flees with the fucking information, the message from Princess Leia to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And then he runs into Luke Skywalker whilst looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there.
Isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
they have the first hello there.
I just think that like that's one of my major issues with Star Wars. I think I mentioned on the other episodes that it's so coincidental or so incidental, everything that happens. And it's always on Tatooine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like there seems to be every single piece of legacy always ends up at Tatooine. Like, so like, we want Palpatine's clone daughter. We're going to try and hide it from him. Let's go to the one place that Anakin Skywalker was, that Luke Skywalker was, that Obi-Wan Kenobi was at. You know what I mean? Let's go to that one place. You know what I mean? Like, it's like almost like New York for superheroes.
Listen, Sidious, I'm not telling you how to do what you do, but I'm thinking you leave a small network of spies on Tatooine. I can't explain it,
just a smidge of spy.
Yeah, you know,
like fuck's sake, so the thing we talked about, right, was the inconsistencies in the Force, right? And before we wrap up on that, I want to talk a bit about the legacy characters. But like the major issue I have with the Force in this was, do you remember? It seemed that like Kylo Ren and Rey had this like ridiculous weird connection that he grabbed a beaded necklace off her neck at one stage. She hands him a lightsaber at one stage.
That's the big one.
They force project to each other across like the galaxy. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker's fucking does it as well in Last Jedi, where he's
force projection.
Yeah, where he's on the Isle of Skrillex. Isn't that what it is, from off the west coast of Ireland?
Yeah.
Where that was filmed. But like he like from across the galaxy, he force projects as well, and he like interacts with Leia and like hugs her and shit as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you make of the major? It's like none of this was ever in the Force, and like Force healing and all this shit. Like, because look at Qui-Gon Jinn.
Force healing. Yeah. No, Force space, no big deal.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but like, how about Qui-Gon Jinn? How come like nobody force healed him?
Exactly. It's like a very similar wound. Like,
almost identical. One could say.
Yeah, but that was it. They literally just said right. And the thing about the Force, which they do have, like, why not?
Yeah.
Because
Princess
it is
Leia doing the whole Mary Poppins, which flows through.
Yeah, the Princess Leia, Mary Poppins.
Rest
in power, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I felt like it felt inconsistent, and I felt like the legacy characters were for the sake of themselves.
Man, you know, it was so weird. It's like as well they killed off Leia in the same way that they killed off Padme. She died through sadness.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Two of the most capable women in the galaxy. But I choose sadness.
When they're in a good mood.
Yeah. Like fucking hell. When they get the feels, they get it deeply.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
they die of broken hearts.
But like, yeah, that was something that really annoyed me about the three movies. Because like I was seeing stuff that was never done with the Force, and the Force was used in ways that was never used before. And like when you're talking about Darth Sidious, you're talking about Darth Maul, you're talking Darth Vader, fucking Count Dooku. You're talking some of the most powerful Sith Lords in the history of the galaxy, and none of them are doing all this shit. And Rey,
Palpatine was surprised they could do that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Who killed his master, who's been around for at least 100 years, and fought Yoda. He's genuinely surprised that they can do that.
You know
I did like when Ben Solo gets the saber from her, and he's facing down all these guards, and he just kind of takes out the lightsaber and he goes, nah. Like he kind of gives them the, I know, I did like that. Now I have to say,
Force me.
I actually don't. I would like to point out, I don't know about you, but I'm not beefing with any of the actual characters or the actors at all. I actually liked Finn. I liked Rey.
I love John Boyega ever since I've seen him in Attack
the Block.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, John Boyega was brilliant. Poe was brilliant. It goes on and on. They were actually really cool characters. Like they
Rey
worked with the script that was given them.
Though.
She really was.
Like in the first appearance of Force Awakens, where she's dressed almost like a Tusken Raider and she's going through like, man, I thought she was so likable at the start. I loved her original character arc. Like it just went off the fucking cliff massively.
It was just too fast.
They did like 6 or 8 movies worth of fucking development in 3 movies.
Exactly. I mean, you would literally, to get her to the
Harry Potter levels.
She at the end, she's every Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end, she was able to incorporate the power of every Jedi.
Look at Harry Potter's journey. Look at him from as apprentice sorcerer to sorcerer supreme, pretty much at the end of like 8 movies. That motherfucker had to fight Voldemort for like 6 of those movies to get his fucking powers. And here's Rey. La da da, I'm juggling rocks. You know what I mean?
I'm doing it. But like, I don't know if I can get this Force thing. Oh my god, I'm doing it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So like, did you like the main cast? Because like it comes back.
I did. I like the cast.
They always do a trio, don't they? Like in the prequels, it was pretty much, it ended up being Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin was the trio. In the original series, it was Han, Luke, and Leia. And in this, it was Poe, Dameron, Finn, and fucking what's her face, Rey. So like, what did you make of the trio in the sequel trilogy in comparison to the original and the prequel trilogy?
Oh yeah, no, I think they're going to age extremely well. Of course, you could,
and they look gorgeous. The movies do.
They do. They absolutely look spectacular.
Gorgeous,
they use a nice mix of practical and special effects. You know, the little nods to the old. And I thought they're like Boyega, Finn, and Rey. They had great chemistry. Yeah, they were bouncing off each other.
How did they not end up together?
Yeah, I know they were bouncing off.
Or
each
Finn
other
and Poe.
Finn and Poe, absolutely. There was a lot of talk of that, actually, wasn't there? That Finn and Poe would be gay characters or something, but you could see it. But at the same time, everyone, the way they bounced off each other, the intensity they brought to it, I thought the actors did such an amazing job. But the acting, you find out when you get older, seems to be it's an integral part. Don't get me wrong, but it ends up being a very small part because it's not like you could bring in Daniel Day-Lewis and suddenly the film's brilliant.
Yeah, it would be dull. Imagine him as a fucking Sith Lord.
No, the script is the script. And the concept is the concept. And you're going to get, oh my God, now don't get me wrong, my God.
Could you imagine him though? Like,
make it happen.
He sits Rey down and he goes, "Hey Rey, do you see that patch of Tatooine? You see it? What I did was I bought all the other patches around Tatooine, all the patches around, and you know what I did? You know what I did? I ran a pipeline right underneath that patch of Tatooine, and I drank your milkshake right up. I drank it right up, Rey. I drank it right up. Drainy, drainy, drainy.
He's phenomenal. No, make it happen. But he couldn't have made the script, not the script.
Yeah.
And the concept, not the concept. And it just leaned on certain things too heavily and rushed certain things that could never be considered a classic trilogy. But we're looking back now with the prequel trilogy.
That's the problem.
The prequel trilogy is aging like don't get me wrong, there's gaping holes.
Yeah, but there's certain the prequel trilogy, chef's kiss as you'd say.
Exactly, exactly. And so who knows in the longevity, but the cast, absolutely solid. And the film tried to take on too much because Star Wars is such a huge idea.
Yeah, and how do you think they handled the legacy characters throughout the trilogy? That being Han, Luke, and Leia, and then also Lando Calrissian later on, Palpatine, all these people.
Well, Leia probably was. They probably wanted to use her for the trilogy, and real life, unfortunately got in the way. So I really don't. It was great to see Leia.
They had the perfect opportunity to give her a heroic ending.
Exactly, and
on the bridge when that got blown out, and they missed it, I thought, and then they didn't let her go out with a bang.
She should have been the one that drove the ship. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That would have been perfect. Yeah.
That scene was fucking perfect.
That scene was excellent. She just took, absolutely.
Never seen that done before.
But she was considered I can't think of the character's name, but she was considered a coward for keeping backing off.
Mm.
And then at the end, she lets everyone else escape, and then she just flies a ship directly into a giant Star Destroyer at light speed, taking it completely out. But of course, destroying her, spreading herself across the galaxy, destroying herself, and that's a baller ending. That's an absolutely amazing ending.
And
of course, it would be great to see Leia get something like that. Yeah. Oh God, that was gorgeous.
I'll give Ryan Johnson made some missteps with Last Jedi, but like it looked fucking gorgeous. Like,
and that's it. We've been very critical, and we're not going to spend an awful lot of time on it. There were certain things that I liked, but there were just, if you want to, when you start talking about the film, the stuff that your brain starts to lean into straight away, it just is what it is.
The way Luke was mishandled is unforgivable, though.
Yes,
like Luke was supposed to be the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the way
because that was it. Anakin was the blip. Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one, but he wasn't. We missed one. He's actually not only that, he's the one who brings complete and total imbalance, Order 66, all that jazz. But Luke, it turned out to be the child. And that was it. Like, that's Obi-Wan, like watching him grow, because he knew that someday he'd be able to do what Obi-Wan himself, an extremely powerful Jedi Master, couldn't do. Like, it was Luke fucking Skywalker.
Man, right. My favorite part of Last Jedi is on the Salt Flats. Do you know where the speeders go out and you see these red?
I do.
And the way that scene was like mishandled, like that's how. If you want to kill off Luke Skywalker, you had the opportunity. Don't be a force projection. Literally have him fight that entire fleet on his own. Like that scene where they're all firing at him and he's like a force projection. Like that is bullshit. Like if they're all firing at him and all of a sudden the clouds clears and he just has his hand up. And you just see all this fucking energy right in front of him, and he sends it back at the flea and takes out a shit ton. And then all of a sudden, you just see like scores and scores and scores of people, just like a whole fucking squadrons and platoons, all just start marching off the ships, and they start like fucking laying siege to him, like shooting more at him, whatever. He starts blocking shit, and then he fights like platoon. Like you literally have him fighting thousands of people. You could have and had him die that way, and have him actually have heroic. And that's the thing that annoyed me, that there's so many opportunities to have heroic endings for their characters, and they didn't take them. Like, you can understand Han being killed in a more personal way because of his relationship with his son and that story arc. That makes perfect sense. But you could easily have had Leia doing the light jump through the Star Destroyer, and that would have been an amazing ending. And you could have easily had fucking Luke Skywalker fucking die through battle. So like the way I think it's like doing the force projection is a pure cop out. And like so what do you think? Like, do you think having him as a force projection was a total cop out? What way would you kill off Luke Skywalker? If you're
actually, you came up with something better than anything I could have come up with. I actually love the idea of I'm Luke fucking you think you're going to take me out some walkers? I'm Luke fucking Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. Like, remember like Vader in Obi-Wan? Not to jump to the next episode, Brian, but when he fucking
comparison, you're just making a comparison.
Yeah, he's that level. Like, you know what I mean? He is the level of Darth Vader. He fucking took out Darth Vader.
Like when he thinks the ship that has like Obi-Wan on, he comes in and just tears the side of it all.
Yeah, man. Like, see, like that's that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to show us the Force, the true nature of the Force, the power of it, that seems the perfect opportunity. Have him take out a fucking armada of the fucking, like, and have everyone escape as he's taking an armada, and have him, and as he takes them out, they're raining down fire, and we can have him either block them all and end up fighting a shit ton of dudes. Or you could just have him eventually, he gets hit and he gets down and they just start raining fire down on him. He gets killed that way. You know what I mean?
Like, he pushes, like, he does something so god tier that I don't like, now that he's older and stuff, it does push him kind of beyond. Like, he uses the last of his power, but the last of his power is something completely amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually love the idea. I'll be honest with you. I just think your idea is brilliant, because we see Kylo Ren stop a laser like mid, and you're thinking, oh, this is a new power. But I'd be thinking, like, what? Like, why can't Luke do it? Why can't Luke just start turning around and he's got like literally walker blasters, like just standing there holding onto them all, and he could even, instead of sending it back, he could just walk around them, point to Kylo Ren, and say, "Come here."
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Call him on, like, you know.
Yeah, oh, man. And then he would have, of course, to keep face, because he's the supreme leader, Kylo Ren, now, because Snoke died in the most ridiculously stupid fashion.
I see you striking down your enemy. Remember that? And he's like, describing his own death.
And he's describing his own death. That was silly. It was silly. I'm not even mad at it. It was just silly.
And Ryan Johnson was like, I don't like that mask. So Snoke was like, take off that stupid thing. And he pretty much wears no mask for all of part 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And then J.J. Abrams was like, nah, he's supposed to be my Darth Vader. I wouldn't have had him take off the mask once in the entire movie. Like, in the entire 3 movies, I wouldn't have had him take off the mask once. We know it's Adam Driver. His name comes up. We don't need to see him.
Oh, it's the same, man. The Halo series that I was watching, because you never see the Master Chief. Your man, the actor, I can't think of his name, but he said, look, I said it to the producers, don't have me do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it. Like, you know, again, he works with the script he was given. It's not on him.
Yeah,
but he's takes off his mask 13 minutes in or something.
Yeah, and barely puts it back on for the rest of
And
the movie.
barely puts it back on for the rest of the movie.
And then another thing that annoyed me was the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, well, I don't even get like
you know what I mean, like
the whip thing. Like,
yeah,
there was parts of the whip that were clearly like the mechanical parts. Like, was that wrapped around the saber? Would they not? Like, I don't
know. Yeah, like man, it just that annoyed me because like I thought they misused them as well. The Knights of Ren.
I also think you can't. The fact of the matter is, if I am a master, like literally a master sword, forget the fact that I'm a Jedi because you have to train. You become a master swordsman by a normal standard. But if I know just before, if I have superhuman reflexes and I know just before you do something what you're going to do, you're not getting, unless you can do that also, I'm going to win. Simple as that. They weren't Jedis or Sith.
No, they were Jedis. They were
Inquisitors.
No,
are they Padawans?
No, you're thinking of the Inquisitors are from.
Oh, the Inquisitors. Sorry, I thought I was talking about the Red Guard that.
Snoke Snoke. They're just guards. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's when the two of them teamed up and fought them. They should have just wiped them out.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have even been a contest.
Well, if they're his personal guard, one assumes that if they're not Jedi, they're at least world-class fighters.
Yeah, I know, but like, I mean, I know you're going to punch or kick before. I know you're coming from.
Yeah, but like the Knights of Ren and you can even have them and fucking Kylo Ren fight Luke Skywalker. That would have even been better. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just seemed to build up the Knights of Ren, and then they did that weird like wide scope shot where they're all just standing on the cliff, looking cool, pointlessly. But like, I don't know. They seem to build them up and they never use them, and I think that's an issue with Rian Johnson going such a different direction in part two than J.J. Abrams seemed to have a different idea of how the trilogy was going to turn out. It seems, and
if you didn't start right. Like A New Hope didn't have to correct. Nothing had to be corrected in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
there was a second film carried on from the first film, leads into the third film beautifully, perfect. A lot of people's favorite of the franchise. I'm a Return of the Jedi guy, but it's a great film.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back for me.
But when you're trying, fair enough. There you go. If you directed the first film and I directed the second film, but what if I had to fix something for you because people are so outraged about it? And then somebody in the third film, I'm after actually fucking it up more than you ever could have possibly fucked it up. So now the third guy that comes in has to like try and paste over.
No, it's just J.J. Abrams coming back.
It's J.J. Abrams coming back, but I'm just saying it's more disjointed. You don't just get to like, cool, this is where the story is. Let's just carry it forward.
It's like I lent you my favorite game, and I'm like, hey Noel, you continue on this game for me, and I'm gonna come back and I'll finish it off. But I just need you to play it for a little while. I'm busy doing other shit. You're like, cool, no worries. And I come back and you've like killed off all of my favorite main characters, and then I have to finish off the game.
Yes,
you know what I mean, like, because that's what it is. Like, he comes back and it's just pretty much like, he's dead, she's dead, she's dead. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like, I know it's like I just think that if you start a trilogy as director,
you weren't attached to the Lake Skiaker. Because I just had him do a ghost thing.
Yeah. Like, so I just think that like he came back, Snoke was dead, Luke Skywalker's dead. Like, it's just
Snoke, Supreme Leader Snoke, man. In the first film, it was like cool, the whole fucked up face. Like, how big is he? Because you only seen him in projections in the first one.
Yeah.
Like, how tall is he? What's his race? That sort of thing. And then he's nothing, like nothing at all. Nothing at all. He's a husk. That was shit.
Yeah, man. That's the problem. I just think if you're a director, if you start a trilogy, you should finish it. Like, if you start
warts and all.
Yeah, I honestly.
And that's what the prequel trilogy and the originals had. Warts and all. It was made by you, one man.
Yeah, like that. I think that's the issue I have with this movie. Is like that people complain about Rian Johnson coming in and doing this or whatever. Rian Johnson shouldn't have been given the opportunity to come in because J.J. Abrams made part one. He should have made part two. Like, if J.J. Abrams had any sort of like commitment to that franchise and that product, he would have started or finished what he started. I know he came back in part three, but there's no point coming back in part three when your story's being completely contorted by a new creative vision in part two, and it's supposed to be one long story. Like, so, like, the only thing I should say is, looking back at it now, the Disney trilogy, the script should have been written beforehand and not by different people.
Yes.
J.J. Abrams even hadn't directed them if he'd have wrote all the scripts.
Like, that's why me and you were so blown away by Marvel's big picture. Like, it's incredible. Yeah, no, it should have been. You're absolutely right. Big picture.
Marvel are clever though, because they'll go, I want you to write a script, but this, and this has to be included. Work towards it. And that's what they do probably, like, you know what I mean? Like we have to, they'll probably go, this movie script, but I want you to mention Wong here, or maybe they'll say these are the 4 or 5 characters you have available to you for the story.
Yeah.
Go for it. You know what I mean? Like, and make sure it's connected to this at the end in a button scene. And I'm sure they direct them themselves most of the time. You probably get like a second unit director or some shit that has the outline there in front of him and goes, all right, cool, I'll do this button scene at the very end. Because I think other directors have come and done the button scenes at the end of other people's movies, just like direct the last like fucking 5-minute scenes or some shit. And then they just like have a link to their movie for the next movie or something, like, you know.
Yeah,
it just like, it was just surprising when Disney looking at Marvel side by side with Lucasfilm, that they seem to be doing it now a bit better, but they didn't take the P's and Q's from Marvel and say, oh, we should build slowly, and we should work this through nicely and develop these characters really well and create an affinity with our fan base and give them everything they want in the way they wanted, not just haphazardly handled legacy characters and throwing things to the wayside, like lore and the use of the Force and the understanding of the Force and all this shit. But apart from that, like, the films looked awesome. Like, Force Awakens had some great chase scenes. The bombing sequence in The Last Jedi was awesome. The light speed.
Yeah, the couple of self-sacrifice scenes and stuff. Like, there was a couple of scenes that gave you the feels. Like, you know, it was, we went negative. There's no doubt about that. And I stand by every word I said.
And we were pretty positive as well. I think even-handed. Like, but Rise of Skywalker, though, like, before you get out here, that battle scene at the end was just a bit much.
Yeah. And you know, I get, like, I mean, I thought he was like, I am every Sith. And then she goes, and I remember sitting there watching it the first time, and because she went, and she's every Jedi.
Yeah.
She's every Jedi.
Yeah.
Every. It's just like Jedi. She's about to Jedi. The next word's going to be Jedi.
Like, that scene would have been better
Jedi
if it was just Luke Skywalker, even.
Oh yeah, no.
Imagine him saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or what if, like, Luke Skywalker takes the L, like, takes the defeat, just like the way Obi-Wan did, but like just to give her the opening or something like that. Because who's the big bad? If the big bad's Sidious, make him fucking the big bad. Don't decide that.
Could have made her the big bad. That would have been
Shouldn't have been. They should have moved on. They should have moved on. It shouldn't have been Sidious. He should, like, I mean, the whole thing is that's what brought fucking Darth Vader back to the saving Luke from him and throwing him down into a fucking generator core.
Yeah, which seems to not kill people in Star Wars, because
Darth Maul
cut in half, throwing down one. Like, I'm pretty sure that in fucking Anakin Skywalker jumped down one and like land perfectly through a vent on the other side, or maybe Obi-Wan did. I'm not sure.
Compactors aren't shit either.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, so I don't know. I just think if you look back at them, I'm like you. I think they'll age well. The prequels have aged really, really fucking well.
They have. People will look back on it with, they will.
It's just cringy at times. The whole I'm Rey Skywalker is stolen valor. It's not like stolen valor, pretty much. That's a legacy. Like, that'd be like me, like, finding out about some fucking like family in America or some family in Ireland that has this amazing military background, and I'm like, oh yeah, I am part of this family now. How did you get how would you get part of that legacy? Oh, I just took the name.
Yeah,
dibs
absolutely.
The name.
Yeah,
did you not see it? I dibs the name.
Because if you decide your surname's Hilton, good luck showing up at one of the hotels. My guy.
You know, me and Paris, I call her P because we're that close. Yeah. You know, what I mean, it's just, I know, just that really annoyed me at the end. That, like, it was its weaknesses were glaring. The whole trilogy, I mentioned it earlier, and it was cringy as fuck at the end. Like, when you really want to put an end to your trilogy, you want to have a button on the end of it that really makes the fans like go, ah! Like, Game of Thrones was the biggest failure in history doing it. Worst ending ever. And like they've obviously realized that because the Jon Snow sequel series just got announced. So, like, that's fucking awesome. Hopefully they can rectify it and we can say, oh, season 8 was shit, but Jon Snow, and you can pick it straight up, and the season was awesome. But and shows like, so I just think with Star Wars that they mishandled so much or too much, and the things that were really good
took on too much as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
you know what I mean? There was a lot of spinning plates.
6 movies worth of fucking storytelling in 3 movies, and it wasn't even coherent storytelling because you had 2 directors making the 3 movies. Like, you can
we
say
have,
what you want
we have 6
Raimi's
episodes about Obi-Wan kind of just existing on a planet, working, chopping up whatever the fuck that meaty shit is he's chopping up. And that, you know, I mean, and that took 6 episodes to tell the story and tell it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, storytelling over scale every day, all day, every day.
Like, just the thing is, like, with Star Wars that like they just need to like focus on the story, like not try and tell fucking 4 different stories at once. Just focus on the story you're trying to tell. And like it's the same with Obi-Wan and Mando and Boba Fett, that they just focused on 1 or 2 really linear stories and just told them. And they didn't try to do all this convoluted thing. You're a clone, you're the chosen one, you're this, you're that, you're everything. No, it's just a person going through a series of events that happen to be awesome for the viewer to fucking take in. It doesn't have to be destiny and all this fucking shit. I think that's what happens sometimes with Star Wars and the sequel trilogy, that people felt like that when you have something like Force Awakens is set 30 years later, and it's because, or it's mid 40 years, 30 years later, that you feel like it's going to go in a real fresh direction. And it felt like it latched onto the past just a bit too much, because you could have maybe had all those characters in the first one and then just continued on with the new characters for part 2 and 3. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, agreed.
It felt like it was just clinging to its past too much, and it didn't know how to handle those characters correctly, and that was the major chagrin a lot of people had with those. Because if you look at the Phantom Menace, there's a lot of new characters there, even with legacy characters. But if you look back at it now, there's nothing really like you can't really compare Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader, 2 completely different characters. You know what I mean? Like, but you can compare the way they use Leia to the Leia from the sequel trilogy or the original trilogy. You compare how they used Luke Skywalker to fucking how Luke Skywalker's using the original trilogy. You know what I mean? So that's the problem, that they left themselves open for too many comparisons to the original, because the prequel trilogy is very different than the original trilogy. And I think that's what it's helped in its favor as years have gone on, that you can't really compare the two because they're completely different stories. Whereas the Disney trilogy tried to be too much like the original trilogy, which led to direct comparisons, and that's what doomed them a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it did. Actually, that's really, really well said. I do think that they'll age well because the characters were good. I do think that the universe is going to expand so much that they can even like retroactively fix some things.
Bring him back.
Yes, exactly.
Bring back Finn. Bring back.
Why not? Bring back Finn. Absolutely. Because the timeline is like, we see a young Luke Skywalker show up in The Mandalorian, that sort of thing. So you're kind of like, so who knows? Like, the timeline's absolutely crazy, but absolutely, why not? Even the dead characters can show up again. The timeline is completely out of whack because they can just go back and revisit anything. They could go back and revisit how Yoda in a 900-year lifetime, So yeah, of course they can fix it. So I do think time will be kind to them. I just don't think the initial releases were kind to them, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, cool. So before we get the fuck out of here, is that all you had to say about Star Wars?
That's all I have to say about Star Wars until we talk about Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan was fucking awesome. All right, folks. So I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, John Tui.
And that was Dark Side of the Moon. And this was the Star Wars Disney trilogy, sequel trilogy, whatever you want to call this trilogy. I thought it was pretty good. Just mishandled some things. And it just, as I said, try to avoid those comparisons if you're making something based on something else. See you next time, motherfuckers. May the force be with y'all. Peace.
Peace. I am your peace. So stupid.
I'm a god, you're a madman. This is the word of Darkseid.